What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and today something major happened in court for the case of Jonathan Majors. They officially released the surveillance video from the streets that showed Jonathan Majors and Grace Jabbari getting out of their private car, running down the street, then the aftermath where Grace Jabbari goes to the nightclub, and then when Jonathan Majors goes back to his apartment, finds her on the floor. They also released the police body cam footage of that as well. We'll show all of this footage in this video. It's quite interesting because you could depict what happened here in many different ways. The court has not ruled on any decision yet. However, the trial was said to only last about 2 weeks. We are in the second week, but it could last a third. But let's go over this footage and talk about what exactly is happening. So as the footage starts, which is provided by dailymail.com, we can see there in the back left, Jonathan Majors is getting out of the car. He is seemingly trying to keep Grace Jabbari inside of the car. She gets out, he kind of walks away, and you don't really realize what's happening here, but then eventually he tries to break free of her hand and runs away. Now don't worry, they're going to zoom in just a bit. Right here, we can see Jonathan Majors grabbing her, putting her into the car. It looks like she might have hit her head there. That could have been where the ear scratch came from, which allegedly came from him assaulting her. He tries to put her back in the car. Now they do a slow down and zoomed in replay of what's happening. He is seemingly picking her up here, and she might hit her head on top here, but what he's trying to do here is put her back in the car. It's hard to tell there if she hits her head or not, but clearly he wants her to stay inside of the car, and he is going to eventually try to get away like we just saw, and they're going to zoom in on that and show that as well. Now, obviously she is fighting, trying to get out of the car, and it looks like Jonathan Majors might be trying to put her seatbelt on here, try to keep her inside the car. But as you can see there, she gets out and she goes and she grabs his hand. But as we saw, he quickly breaks their grip and he starts to run away from her. And we can see in the surveillance footage him running away from her, and she is chasing after him. We get a lot of different street angles here, a lot of different surveillance footage here. They released them all. He continues to run, she continues to chase him, and then he runs across the street. Now she follows after him and she just runs right in front of this car, cuts it off. She is determined to keep following him. They show us some more footage. He continues to run, and it looks like she is now slowing down a little bit. She has started to walk. Seems like she's probably given up. And then we see she meets 3 people, which were mentioned yesterday. Jabbari mentioned that these people were strangers to her. She just met them in this moment right here. In their testimonies, they said that they could tell she was upset, but they didn't notice any injuries on her. Now, 2 of these 3 people testified in court, Chloe Zoller and Max Manning. What happened was, which was explained in court, is that after this, she met these 3 strangers on the street. She told them about what happened with Jonathan Majors, and they consoled her outside. And after talking, they invited her to a birthday party at Lucy's nightclub in Manhattan on the Lower East Side. And she said that she went because she didn't want to be alone. And in court, she said that she didn't notice any of the pain. She said, "I was upset about the cheating. It was on my mind." Now, one of these 3 people, Zoller, did say that they didn't notice any injuries on her, but she did complain about her finger in the club, in which they gave her some ice for. Now, in this footage, we can see that she is visibly upset. The people are hugging her, trying to comfort her. And then Jonathan Majors actually walks back and she tries to get his attention. She tries to talk to him, but he keeps going. He says some words. We unfortunately do not have audio, but he keeps going. He says something and she tries to cover her face like she's upset again. She continues to try and chase him, but it looks like he doesn't want any part of this. It then looks like he tries to put her back inside of the private car. She doesn't want to stay inside and he leaves. We then have footage of him being alone, checking into what seems to be the hotel that he stayed at that night. Then we see footage of her at the nightclub. Now, we've seen this footage before. We've actually seen better footage of this. It just shows Jabbari at the nightclub. She doesn't really seem to be that hurt, although it's really hard to tell, of course, from surveillance footage. At some point in the footage, she brushes her hair back, in which they asked her in court if she could tell if she was bleeding in her ear where the cut was, in which she says, "I didn't touch my ear, so I didn't notice any blood." Now, here's something that is very important to know before we jump into the police body cam footage. It's important to know what the driver of the private car said about them fighting, because it gives a little bit of context. The driver's name is Naveed Sarwar, and he said this in court: "I was feeling something was going on in the back seat. When I reached the canal and Center Street, Majors wanted to get rid of Jabbari, and he opened the door. I saw they were fighting when the car stopped. He was trying to get rid of her. Jabbari was yelling at Majors and they were having an argument. I had a feeling Jabbari had hit Majors earlier, the way she was fighting and the sounds produced. So that's what the driver said, and he didn't actually see any of the assault take place inside of the car, but he said based off of what he heard, it sounded like she had hit him, which is what Majors' team has been claiming this entire time. Now, the video is not very clear when he's trying to keep her inside of the car. I'm sure it could be interpreted both ways. Majors is trying to put her back in the car and he could have hurt her during this moment, or she could have just assaulted him and he wants her to stay inside the car so he can get away, because he then runs, trying to get away from her. Unfortunately, even with this footage, we don't know exactly what happened. But it is interesting that Majors is the one who ended up calling the police, and we have that footage here. Majors went back to his apartment, and what is not shown is that he supposedly had to get the help of somebody who worked at the apartment to open his door. When he finally went inside, he found Jabbari passed out on the floor of his closet, in which he called the police. We can see him talking to the police here in the lobby. We can see the police show up, and he's even in the elevator with them. And he called the police because he was reportedly very concerned for her. And we'll put the entire police phone call of Jonathan Majors calling them at the end of this video so you can listen to it for yourself. But we see the body cam footage here of the police officers who were there. We can see that she is covered now because she was naked from the waist down, according to Jonathan Majors on the police call. She's now covered. She's wearing a sweatshirt and the officers are there helping her up. You can obviously see that she's not in good shape. She did say in court that she took 2 sleeping pills before and she was sick. In this video, you can clearly tell that she is in a lot of distress, and this does, of course, end with Jonathan Majors being arrested. Now again, it's really hard to say for sure what is going on in this video. Clearly there's an altercation. Clearly it is at least a little bit physical, as we see Jonathan Majors grabbing her and trying to put her back in the car. But then of course we see him trying to run away from her, and she follows him for a very long time. So unfortunately, we don't know exactly what has happened, and honestly the jury could go either way with what they've seen here based off of testimonies that they'll hear. But go ahead and let us know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. And like I mentioned, here is the full police call that Jonathan Majors made.
Police fire medical.
Hey, how are you? Is it medical? Attempted suicide, I think.
What is the location?
252 7th Avenue.
Alright, so that was 252 7th Avenue, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What apartment?
Penthouse D.
Penthouse D?
Yes.
As in David, right?
Yes,
this is in Manhattan or in Brooklyn?
This is.
Hello, sir?
Yes, ma'am. This is in
You're
Manhattan.
losing service. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, it's okay. It's in Manhattan.
All right. So this is Penthouse D. Just stay on the line, all right?
Okay, we'll do.
Penthouse D as in David. Don't worry about it. Speaking to me is not delaying anything. I just need some help, some information for the crew. They're already on the way, okay?
Okay.
Attempted suicide. Let me get them going. What happened exactly? Do you know?
No, I don't know. But she's unconscious.
Okay.
She's naked from the bottom down. She has a sweatshirt on. She's my ex-partner.
Right.
We broke up. I came back. She sent me text messages insinuating as much. I stayed in a hotel last night. I came home this morning. I banged on the door. I've been at the apartment for about 40 minutes now. I banged at the door. I couldn't get in. I finally went downstairs and asked the doorman to help us, and they let me in via the handyman.
All right.
Yeah. She's 30 years old, white, female.
All right. Does she suffer from anything prior to? Or no, she have a mental condition or history?
I would maybe say so.
Right.
She has a history with...
What's her name?
Her name is Grace Caitlin Natasha Jabbari.
Grace. All right. All right. Do you know what she did or what she took, or you don't know?
No, I don't know. I just know she's just unconscious.
All right. No problem, sir.
Yeah. And
I'm going to get you over to the EMS. Do not hang up, all right? They're already en route, okay?
Okay.
All right. Stay on the line. Hold on. Arrow?
639.
639. I'm 2880 for the job number 1749.
49. Hello, caller?
Hey, how are you?
Hi, this is 252 7th Avenue in Manhattan?
Yes, sir, right over the Whole Foods.
Okay. And the patient's breathing?
Oh, yes, sir, she is.
Okay, is she awake?
No.
This is Penthouse D as in David?
Yes, sir, Penthouse Diaz and David.
Okay, you're with her right now?
I've come downstairs to let the lobbymen know that you guys are on their way. So,
okay. So they're going to be there as soon as possible.
Okay.
Obviously, if you could
what should I do? What should I do?
If you could just make sure the door's open, and when you get upstairs, she didn't fall and hit her head, anything that you know of, right?
No, I think I saw a cut behind her ear.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 30 years old.
Okay. So if you could just, when you get back upstairs, we just want you to keep an eye on her breathing. If she wakes up, we don't want to give her anything to eat or drink. Like I said, they're already responding.
I think they just walked in.
The ambulance crew?
Okay. I think this is the ambulance crew?
Is it the fire department?
I called them on with a good,
I think that's PD.
Yeah.
That's the police, sir?
Hello, sir, that's the police?
I don't know what's going on. She's conscious stuff. She tried to, yeah. So hope to will you just keep that confidential? Fella, this way?
Sir, you're speaking to the cops?
Yeah, I'm assuming these are our guys. I mean,
is it the police?
Girlfriend, I just came back home. Girlfriend.
Probably. Let me see if they're at the location. Sorry.
I'm leaving. I just need you to phone me and say goodbye, Jonathan. There's no note. Just knowing what happened. With this way? Yeah. I finally got into the apartment. The apartment was open.
Yeah, they're at Loke.
What?
The sergeant is at the location.
Okay, and just to confirm again, it's 252 7th Avenue, Penthouse D, between 124th and 125th in Manhattan?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.